So section 12.3 is on surface areas. So surface areas of both prisms and cylinders. So a prism is a polyhedron with congruent faces called bases. So we've already talked about that. So a prism is, you know, oh man, can I not write? That's unfortunate. Okay, maybe I can. So this would be a prism. So where we have two bases that are parallel to each other. Does that make sense? That's a prism. So lateral faces are along the edge. This would be a lateral face. And lateral edges would be here. This would be a lateral edge. Lateral means along the side of the shape, like the right, left, front, back. Okay, the altitude or the height of a prism is just the distance that separates the two bases. And then a right prism is a prism in which each lateral edge is perpendicular to both bases. So remember I told you there's something called an oblique. Oblique is where it's sideways, like it's slanted, and a right one is where it's straight up and down. Okay, so these are all our definitions. We got that down? All right, so an oblique prism, like I said, is a prism that have lateral edges that are not perpendicular to the bases. So the slant height is the length of the oblique lateral edges. This would be the slant height. But we've also talked about slant height in another way. So the slant height would be something like this. Or if you have a pyramid, we call the slant height the height of that triangle that's creating that pyramid. Okay, that way we can find the surface area. The surface area is the sum of the object's faces, the areas of the object's faces, and then the lateral area is just going around the sides, so not including those two bases. So lots of definitions. All right, so I'll try to use those as we talk about them today. So a square-based prism, if I want to talk about its surface area, we could just take one piece at a time. Okay, so if I have the length, the width, and the height, and I wanted to say my surface area, I could say I have two of the top and bottoms, right? So how would I find the area of the bottom? I'd have my length times width, and I'd have two of them because I have the top and the bottom, right? So I'd have my 2 of the length times width. But then I'd have 2, so that was our top and bottom. What about the right and left? How do I write the right and left? W times H. Do you guys see it? So I have 2 of the W times H's. And then the last one I have the front and back. How do I get the front and back? Yeah, L and H. Oops, H. So our formula would be 2 length times width plus 2 width times height plus 2 length times height. A little sloppy there. All right, so that's a very easy way of doing that formula. You just break it up into its different pieces. I always talk about like wrapping paper. Imagine I'm trying to wrap a gift. How much area would I need for the front, the back, the right, the left, the top, and the bottom? All of those areas added together create my surface area. Now, if I was just talking about the lateral area would only be the front, back, right, and left. Okay, so going around the shape, but not including the top and the bottom. All right, so the cube. A cube, so it says, well, what if S is going to be the side of each cube? How many of those faces do I have? I have 6 of them, right? Front, back, right, left, top, bottom. And what is the area of each one? S squared. So it's going to be 6S squared. All right, so cylinder. So I just showed you this with a piece of paper. So let's see if we remember. So imagine we cut this piece of paper down. When we unravel it, we have a rectangular piece of paper. This distance going around is called the circumference, which is equal to 2 times pi times r. And this distance up and down is the height. So this creates what we call the lateral area. So the lateral area is 2 pi r times h, circumference times height. But we still have our circle on the top and the bottom, and the area of that is pi r squared, and the area of that one is pi r squared. So our total surface area, which you can call S or SA, it doesn't matter, is going to be our 2 pi r h added to 2 of the pi r squareds. So the way we're thinking about that is our circumference times our height added to 2 of our area of our bases. And the reason we sometimes think of it that way, I'll write S for surface area, is because that's how it's relating to the prisms as well. Okay, so I showed you another example where we had, a hexagonal prism. So I had that piece of paper folded, and we said this distance is no longer called circumference, we call it the perimeter. So we multiplied the perimeter times the height to get that piece of paper that was folded up. Okay. But then we still have our 2 bases. So we do P times H plus 2 times B. So that is going to be the area, surface area, P times H plus 2 times B. And that's the simplest way to find it. So again, you can break it into its pieces, front, back, right, left, top, bottom. But look at this one, look how many pieces there are. There's 6 that go around the side, so you would have to find all 6 of those, add them together, and then you have to find the 2 bases. Okay, so this is a faster way of doing that. P times H plus 2 times B. And same thing for the circular cylinder, so it's the same thing, only instead of perimeter, we write it as circumference times height plus 2 times area of the base. So that works out to be 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. Okay, you do have a note card for your final. You can put these on your note card. Isn't that nice? Say thank you, Mrs. Cox. You're the best.
Thank you, Mrs. Cox. You're the best.
All right, so number 1, so it says find the surface area of a right rectangular prism with a height of 10 inches, a length of 8 inches, and a width of 3 inches. So basically we have this, box shape. Our height is 10, our length is 8, our width is 3. Length and width, it doesn't matter which one's which. Yeah.
Is the note card as big as last semester?
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't know. You guys did have that giant one for last semester. We'll see. All right, so you could go through this whole thing and you could say front, back, right, left, top, bottom like we did before. But let's try the formula. Let's see if we get the same. So we said our formula was our perimeter times our height added to 2 of the area of the bases. So our perimeter of the base, as we go around, we have 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3. So we get 22. The height is 10. That was this distance here. And then we have plus 2, and then the area of the base is 8 times 3. So we end up getting 220 plus 48, so we get 268. Our units, since it's an area, would be inches squared. Okay, so not volume, but area. So would that be the same if we did front, back, right, left, top, bottom? So what would the front be? The front would be 8 times 10. So we'd have 8 times 10 and then times 2 because we'd have the front and back. So we'd have 160. What would the right and left be? The right and left would be 30. So plus another 30 would be an adding 60. So 60 plus 160 is 220. So I'm at 220 now. Top and bottom. Top and bottom would be 8 times 3, 24. Times 2 is 48. So if I add 48 to 220, I do get 268. So you can do it that way as well. Okay? All right, so number 2. So it says find the surface area of a right triangular prism with equilateral bases. So we have our equilateral triangle and another equilateral triangle, and it's a prism shape, meaning it doesn't go up to a point like a pyramid. There's 2 bases to it. And the bases have a side length of 12. 12, 12, 12 going around. And the height of the prism is 16. Okay, so if we know our formula for a prism, it's P times H added to 2 times B. So our perimeter of this equilateral triangle, what's the perimeter? 12 plus 12 plus 12. So 36. And the height is 16. And then we have 2 times the area of the base. Nope. The area of the base, what shape is the base? It's an equilateral triangle. Yeah, we're back to the square root of 3 over 4 times s squared. Isn't that handy to know? Man, it pops up so often. So root 3 over 4 times 12 squared. So 12 squared is 144, divided by 4 is 36. So we end up getting 36 root 3. So we have times 36 root 3. So 36 times 16 is 576, added to 72 root 3 would be our answer. And again, our units would be centimeters squared. So that would be the exact answer. And so Math Excel might say round to the nearest tenth, hundredth, thousandths, whatever. Okay, this is making sense so far? So number 3 says, suppose a water in the tank of a right circular cylinder, so we have a cylinder, is 30 feet long and 8 feet in diameter. So 30 feet here, and then 8 here. Oh, 8 in diameter, right? So we should have 4 and 4. So how much sheet metal was used in its construction? So we're not asking how much is filling it, right? We're not asking like how much water can fill this tank. That would be volume. We're asking this tank was made out of some kind of metal, sheet metal, like flat metal, rolled around. How much did we use in its construction? So that's surface area. So our surface area, again, if you think about the pieces, sorry, I always write SA, and I always mean to write S, but it doesn't matter. When I write SA, my students get confused because they're like, what's S? What's A? I multiply those together. I'm like, no, it's just how I write surface area. I don't know. It's confusing. I'm going to try not to confuse you. All right, so our surface area. So again, think about our piece of paper that's rolled into a cylinder. We have our circumference times height, right? Added to 2 of the area of the bases. So we have 2 pi r h plus 2 of the pi r squareds. So we have 2 pi times 4 times 30 plus 2 pi times 4 squared. 2 times 4 times 30 is 240 pi. And then 16 times 2 is going to be 32 pi. So this answer ends up being 272 pi. And then feet squared. Can I do square on the last one? You're squared, okay. All right, still making sense? This is all surface area. Okay, the next one. So it says solve for y if you're given that the surface area is 160 square inches and the dimensions of the rectangular prism is 4 by 4 by y. So we have this box shape that's 4 by 4 by y, and we want to find y. So you can do your perimeter times height plus 2 of the area of the bases if you want, or you can break it up into the front, back, right, left, top, bottom. Up to you. Which, do you guys have a preference? Does it matter? Yeah, so let's do the front, back, right, left, top, bottom. So the front and the back are both 4y, so we have times 2. The right and the left are both 4y, so we have times 2, because right and left. And the top and bottom are both 4 times 4 times 2. So we get 8y plus another 8y, so 16y plus 32 equals 160. We subtract it out, so we get 128 equals 16y when we subtracted the 32. And so we get y equals 8. Good. Did you know that right off the top of your head? All right, is this all making sense? Do you guys get it? All right, I don't know what else we have on this next page. So let's do these pictures. So now we're combining, we're finding both surface area and volume. I think several of your Math Excel are like this, where you have to find both. Okay, so surface area and volume. So remember the 2 volume formulas? So we either have volume equals area of the base times the height, or we have 1/3 area of the base times the height. But the 1/3 area of the base times the height goes with pyramids or cones. That's actually the next section. We're not going to do that today. You'll have a video for that tomorrow, which I still need to make. All right, so here we go. So we're using area of the base times the height. So let's start with the volume. So we have area of the base times the height. Well, our base is 5 times 8, so 40, and our height is 2, so we end up getting 80 cubic inches for our volume. Now the surface area is going to be 2. Hang on. We have 2 of our bases added to our perimeter times our height. So let's do perimeter times height plus 2b. Or you could do front, back, right, left, top, bottom if you want to. So our perimeter is 5 times 8 times, or plus, sorry, 5 plus 8 plus 5 plus 8. So it's 26. Our height is 2. Our bases are both 5 times 8, so 40, so we have 2 of those 40s. So we end up getting 52 plus 80, so we get 132 square inches. Okay, does that make sense? All right, I want you guys to try the second one because you guys are starting to die on me. So try the next one.